Welcome back to Be the People. We're looking at what America should do in light of what is happening in Israel and the Middle East. That's our question for you. You can email me at carol@bethepeopletv.com or contact us via Twitter and Facebook. Pastor Lyndon Allen is back with me, as well as Dr. Bill Warner, who has researched and teaches about how to defeat political Islam. Thank you. Can there be a two-state solution? I mean, what's the solution over there, given what we know and what you've just said in the previous segment?
You know, Bill, I think you'd agree with this as well. I'm going to say this.
You go first.
We really already have a two-state solution unofficially. If you think about it, we have Gaza, and we have the West Bank, which I would refer to as Judea and Samaria. And how is this solution working unofficially? We have two states, really, Gaza and the West Bank. And what has been coming from Gaza to Israel as a potential state living next door to them have been thousands of rockets.
More than 2,000 in the past month.
And so that would add up to at least 10,000 over the last 7 years. Now, how would we respond if Mexico lobbed a rocket into Houston?
I would hope that we would.
I would hope we would take care of the problem seriously at the root.
And look what we did when the Cuban Missile Crisis hit. We were at odds or in nail-biting situations with just the prospect of one coming over.
Yes.
This nation has to deal with so much.
By the way, I'm going to be slightly ironic and slightly radical here. I'm all for the one-state solution in the Middle East, because I look in the Middle East and I see suffering, pain, turmoil, tyranny, and so I say, combine it all into one country and let Israel run it all.
Absolutely.
They do a better job.
Absolutely.
Is that are you serious?
No, I'm being ironic here. You brought up two-state solution, but I am making a contrast here. I feel Israel is part of my civilization, never mind religious roots, because I share so much in common with them.
What do we share with Israel that we don't share?
Let's start with the golden rule. Israel has a golden rule, we have a golden rule. It's one of our ethical principles that's basically manifest in our Constitution.
Could you explain to the people that may not know the golden rule?
Oh, wow. Well, it has a lot of expressions, but one of them is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Be a good neighbor, I guess, is another expression of the golden rule.
In Hebrew, they would refer to that as tekun elam, heal the world, do good unto the world.
Right.
Okay.
So anyway, that's the golden rule. It is, and this is important to know, inside of Islamic documents, there is no golden rule. As a matter of fact, if we examine the life of Muhammad, and speaking as a golden rule as a neighbor, he attacked every neighbor around him, starting with the polytheist pagans, then the Jews, and then the Christians. So there is no golden rule manifest there.
Is that coming from the Quran, or where does that come from?
Well, the lack of it comes from the Quran, and the lack of it all comes from the traditions or the Sunnah of Muhammad. And there's no golden rule there. And like I say, his very life demonstrated a life opposite to the golden rule, but his very life sort of foreshadows what we see in Gaza and in Israel.
And what are some of the other reasons?
Well, another reason is this. Islam and Gaza and Hamas believe in authoritative thought. Israel shares with us a belief in critical thought. These are massive differences, massive differences. So I see that our civilization has as its ideals, do we meet it all the time? No. The golden rule and critical thought. Those are what our guiding principles, and we do best when we obey those. Hamas and the Muslims do not share that.
When you look at the West Bank, Gaza, two-state solution, if the West Bank were to become a state, that would be indefensible for Israel. Absolutely. There's a mere 9 miles between the border of the West Bank and the Mediterranean Sea. 9 miles. That defies logic, and does not give Israel defensive depth. They won't have enough time to respond to anything if something were to ensue.
That seems to be the plan that's favored by most of the world leaders, as well as the majority of people in Israel and other nations, if you go by those surveys.
Well, they are indefensible. I mean, Bibi Netanyahu has clearly stated these are indefensible lines. And when our president, a few years back, actually suggested that Israel return to pre-67 borders, which would include East Jerusalem, West Bank, Gaza, that Israel would have no time to respond. If that were to happen, and the conversations that ensued between both President Obama and Bibi Netanyahu, they were, I would say, on camera, chilly.
Well, thank you, Bill and Lyndon. We'll be right back. I'd like to continue our discussion in just a moment when Be the People returns.